Hello, my name is Ashok Nambudri. It's the 12 o'clock, and we are here on the afternoon show on Red Sports Global. Joining me on the show, Shamik Chakraborty from Colombo. Shamik, welcome to the show. And later
Thank
on,
you.
we will also have Gargi from Ahmedabad. As you are aware, India has made it four in a row and made its way to the Super Eights, which starts on the 21st of February and continues all the way to the 1st of March. Um, we're going to focus today on a slightly different theme. Basically, we're going to talk about India's batting and try and understand and make sense of the approach that India is taking to batting. The question that we are asking today is: does India have a new batting template? Is this a new template? Is this something that they have thought this through and will hold them in good stead as it progresses into the Super 8 stage? For this and more, we will talk to Gargi, we'll talk to Shamik, and try and decode what really has been happening out there. Let me begin with Shamik. Shamik, right up front off the bat, does India have a new batting template?
Sorry. Ashok, I will not call it a new batting template. It is like playing to situations. If you go back to yesterday's game, India hit 13 sixes. India's innings had 13 sixes. But there were a couple of phases when there were the first phase were when for 13 balls there were no boundaries, and the next phase was about 19 balls there were no boundaries. It about playing to it about play. It's about playing to the situations. One thing is the players, the middle order are adjusting because Abhishek Sharma is not scoring runs. I hope he will get back to form Super 8s. But as because Abhishek Sharma is not scoring runs, if you look at India's batting over the past 2 years, it is about Abhishek Sharma giving the team an electric start in company with Sanju Samson. Sanju Samson also contributed handsomely during that period, but it is mainly the enforcer in chief was Abhishek Sharma. Now, Abhishek Sharma is not getting runs. So, obviously, you will have to adjust. That is number one. And they are adjusting very well, I would say. This is the beauty of having a team that bats deep, because this is what is helping India. Even yesterday, Shivam Dubé's knock, Hardik Pandya. So, as because India bats deep, that is contributing to them. Even after losing early wickets, they are getting to 190s, 180s, and you will not get highways like bilateral series, like home bilateral series. Will not get highways in ICC tournaments. There would be something for the bowlers. There will have to be something for the bowlers. Otherwise, there would be serious criticism for the ICC. Andy Atkinson is the chief curator, and it is his responsibility. So you have to adjust, and India have been adjusting well. So I will not call it a different template, but it is smart cricket.
Hmm. Okay, so joining me on the show also is Gargi from Ahmedabad and Rohit Juglan. Rohit and Gargi, welcome to the show. Um, I started by actually asking Shamik straight off the bat, does India have a new batting template? And Shamik's answer was that it's not a new batting template, it's perhaps a smarter batting template. Gargi, I'm going to come and ask you this question. We've seen, for example, in the match against Netherlands, the Indian innings was built on three distinct partnerships, right? We had 30 runs between Tilak Verma and Surya Kumar Yadav, and then Surya Kumar Yadav and Shivam Dubé contributed 41 together, and then a 76-run partnership between Shivam Dubé and Hardik Pandya. So, would you categorically say that the innings being dependent on partnerships more than individual accelerated shows is reflective of a new template?
Um, it's not a new template as such. I think it's a recalibration from the old one. I think it's a one up to the last template that we had. Obviously, Indian batting lineup is such that you have power hitters from the top to the bottom. But what we've seen in this tournament is the fact that even one of your biggest power hitters, Surya Kumar Yadav, is taking on a more conservative role in the middle overs. And it is, something that is deliberate. It may seem from the outside like Surya Kumar Yadav is struggling, Tilak Verma is struggling. There are a lot of criticisms when it comes to them not rotating strike enough and stuff like that. That is being said. But at the same time, I think it's very deliberate what Surya Kumar and Tilak are doing out in the middle. Because if you look at it, Surya Kumar Yadav and Tilak Verma, they only bat together when there is a certain collapse at the top. When Abhishek Sharma is not firing or an Ishan Kishan is not firing, only then will you see a Tilak and Surya partnership happening. And you've seen that in the past two games as well. But at the same time, one of the biggest decisive factors in this World Cup is the surface. Are the surfaces. These are very balanced, very two-paced sort of wickets. And in the lead up of the World Cup, the last 1 year that you've seen the Indian team performing, you saw them taking on good opponents in bilateral cricket, but at the same time, those were flat wickets. Those were batting paradises. And, you can go out there and go in with a very gung-ho approach from the very first ball on those wickets. It won't work in a World Cup when the pressure is completely different. When the wickets are acting like this, these are very tricky surfaces. But it's a recalibration, I would say. And yesterday's batting innings for India was a perfect demonstration of what the management is thinking at this point. You had three partnerships. One was 30 odd runs, one was 40 odd runs, and the other was 76. Later, when Shivam Dube and Hardik Pandya came in and batted and took the game really aggressive, they accelerated all of a sudden from the 16th, 17th over. So that shows you that this Indian team is giving more priority to partnerships in the middle overs. They are taking the game deep, and then they are finishing off with a very, very aggressive Rinku Singh, Hardik Pandya, and Shivam Dube. So that's what I think is the new recalibration here, and it seems like smart cricket.
So, Rohit, two things that we've heard so far. One, even in the match against Netherlands, we saw the bowlers, employing their cutters. Pace off has been the theme for this T20 World Cup from a bowling perspective. And we've also seen pitches where the batting and the bowling are kind of evenly matched with, the balls gripping the surface. The second thing that we've seen is that the associate nations, whether it's the US, whether it is Nepal, whether it's Zimbabwe, whether it is Netherlands, we've seen them coming to the party with intent and execution backed on that. Given these two combinations, so what are your opening comments in terms of is it a new template that India is employing in terms of batting?
So, with due respect, I disagree because I don't think that it's a new kind of approach. I think it's just the lack of playing good spin or playing spin rather. Because from the very start, look at the way they operated versus USA. They were trying to go with that full Monty, what you say. They were trying to strike from the very first ball in that USA game. But then that didn't come well because, it's not the similar kind of 1 KD wicket which people used to see during IPL times. Ball is coming onto the bat nicely. You can play on the rise. You can play through the line. And these batters love that. These Indian batting lineup, there are multiple players who love to play through the line. And that's where the whole debate comes into the picture. Because, look, this is not some team which you can say that, these are top teams. No. In last 4 games, we have played 3 associate nations. And versus Pakistan also, we are struggling against part-timers like Salman Ali Agha and Saim Ayub. So look at from the USA game. Do we know about how much we know about a Harmeet Singh or a Mohammad Mohsin? How much we know about George Erasmus? How much we know about Aryan Dutt? Who is Aryan Dutt? Is just a left arm spinner or a slow left arm orthodox or a right arm leg break. I'm talking about all the bowlers. These are not your top bowlers. This is not someone like a Keshav Maharaj. This is not someone like, you call at this point of time in world cricket that, these 3 bowlers are leading the chart at this point of time. You're not facing a Rashid Khan. You're not facing a Keshav Maharaj. You're not facing someone like, a Wanindu Hasaranga or a Velal again. No, you are not. But the main thing is that everyone, if he's a right arm off break, if he's a left arm off break, or just a right arm leggy, this Indian team is struggling. We have to put, and this was not a difficult wicket to bat on. Look at a Shivam Dube's inning. He started his innings with a conservative style, but once he got that, he felt the setting of the game, that yes, now I can go, anyone, against anyone. He just blasted it away, and that's why a 25 ball half century there, a half century with a 200 strike rate. So before that, Tilak Verma was there. Tilak Verma had his time in all the games, but not even once he crossed that 125 or 130 strike rate. So this is not new. People who have followed Tilak Verma's cricket, they easily know this, that when it comes down to a sluggish kind of wicket where the spinners are doing well, Tilak Verma will definitely struggle. This has to do, with the mindset of this team, that what does this team wants? Do they want that, we want Surya and Tilak at 3 and 4? Because Tilak Verma is someone in in normal kind of wickets also, like yesterday's Ahmedabad wicket only I'm talking about. It was not, and Ahmedabad wicket, if you look at this tournament also, in Ahmedabad teams have scored 200. In Ahmedabad teams have scored 190. In Ahmedabad, South Africa already played 3 games. They had good games here. So it's not like that, this Ahmedabad wicket is suddenly be very sluggish, or making runs is really difficult here. No, it's not like that. It's just our vulnerabilities against playing. I'm not saying quality spin also, because these are not quality spinners. I'm sorry, but these are associate nations. These are just normal right arm off breaks or left arm off breaks. That's it. But this is our problem against, and this is not new. We remember that what we do in the Test cricket also. Any newcomer in the Test cricket, an Indian team is struggling. Similar thing have happening here. Just a bit of assistance from the wicket, and you can see that someone like a George Erasmus creating problems, someone like a Salman Ali Aga or Usman Tariq, who's playing first time against India. He's, again, Indian players are playing him like, and this is not, again, as I said, I remember this incident from 2022 World Cup when early wickets fall and they played Liam Livingston like he's Shane Warne or Muttiah Muralidharan. So my only point is that this team at this point of time struggle, and I'm talking about the team, I'm not talking about individuals. Apart from certain individuals like a Shivam Dube, you can, give a good pat on the back to Shivam Dube, that the way he played yesterday. Otherwise, Ashok sir, it's a 17 runs defeat, just 17 runs defeat versus a Netherlands, and you haven't won a convincing win in this league stage, and you played against 3 associate nations. So we won 4 out of 4 games. We are table toppers, but can we say that we are the favorites? I'm sorry, I can't say that.
Great. I think we have now got the stage set for an interesting debate. It's not an outright vote clearly in terms of a new batting template. But the question I want to ask my panelists today, when we started out this T20 World Cup, it's almost like we were assembling a set of characters to play for India. From a batting perspective, we thought Abhishek Sharma, we thought Sanju Samson would be the big stars, really, and they've not really fired for us. Instead, on the positive side, we've got the emergence of Ishan Kishan, who's kind of burst onto the scene like a man possessed. He's in the form of his life, and he's been very, very consistent. Hardik Pandya has done well. Shivam Dube, like Rohit mentioned, it's not that he's also struggled. If you see that first ball, for example, was a little miscued, but then he's kind of come back. And, I was reading somewhere that he took the advice of MS Dhoni, perhaps under Chennai Super Kings. And then he uses his long reach. And when the ball hits the bottom of the bat, then it's a whack straight into the second tier of the stadium, right? So we've seen him coming good. And to some extent, in terms of consolidating the innings, one would say that even Tilak Verma, we may ask questions about his ability to accelerate, but in terms of holding it together, he's been there. Coming back from injury, he's also kind of held good. And of course, Captain Surya Kumar Yadav, both from a captaincy perspective as well as from a batting perspective, has done well. So it's almost like we kind of were looking to put together a cast, and it's a different cast that's firing for India. Thoughts, Gargi?
Ashok, while I was analyzing the new approach, or rather the recalibration from the Indian batters in my last answer, But I did not give my opinion on whether or not I think that is what India need. And at this point, and this is my personal opinion, that I don't think India need a Surya Kumar Yadav and a Tilak Verma anchoring in the middle. I don't think that is the kind of approach that will win you games against stronger opponents. You have a game against South Africa coming up. They will have top quality players. Even yesterday in that post match live, I said that I was never expecting Netherlands to be a rollover. I was always expecting them to give fight because they have quality bowlers in the side. But at the same time, if you're going to shut shop completely against a team like Netherlands, what's going to happen when the stronger teams come on later in the tournament? Uh, I understand where this recalibration is coming from. You don't have an Abhishek Sharma, firing at the top, but it almost seems like it's a defensive sort of strategy because India have 8 batters in hand. You bat till number 8, and even that 8th batter is an incredibly good batter capable of accelerating the innings. So while I understand that Tilak Verma is out there just to play one role, which is of the anchor, which we thought a year ago India did not want, but it's back now. But I don't see why Surya Kumar Yadav is playing a runner ball innings. I don't understand why it's getting so slow in the middle overs, because going ahead, if India continues to bat first in the matches against stronger teams, there are possibilities that a stronger batting lineup will chase these targets down. At the same time, I also think that throughout this World Cup, in the 4 matches that we have seen, India's bowling lineup has been much more dominant than India's batting lineup.
Interesting. So, Shamik, Rohit is making the point that India's batting is nowhere near where it should be in terms of what was expected. And it's not so much a function of the pitch or the conditions because Ahmedabad, and he's right, Ahmedabad was always supposed to be a flat batting track. Gargi's argument is that we are in a way too dependent on the two openers, and if they don't fire, then we are kind of going into a shell in the middle orders, and that's not required from everyone to kind of consolidate and hold it together. Your thoughts?
Ashok, absolutely no concerns at all. I mean, the fact of the matter is that, I mean, if you look at Pakistan, even without Abhishek Sharma firing, India were 20 runs above par, and that is even by Mike Hazen's admission, India were 20 runs above par on that pitch against Pakistan. Yesterday also, India were 10 or 15 runs above par on that pitch. You will not get high whiz in an ICC event. Yeah, it is not bilateral series. You will not get a higher. Andy Atkinson will have to strike a balance. Otherwise, he will be criticized. And that is number one. Number two is that um, even with that is the first point. And irrespective of the margin of victory yesterday, the game was over long ago. Once Varun Chakravarti came into the attack, it was game over. Varun Chakravarti's spell ended, it was game over, irrespective of the margin of the defeat. So I'm not concerned at all. It is about the only concern is Abhishek Sharma. I think probably has scored 3 ducks. That is, I will not say it's a big concern, but I think if it continues in the first game of the Super 8, and the first game is hugely important because if you don't win, if you lose the first game, then you are under serious pressure. Then you will have to win the second game by hook or by crook. By any come what may, you will have to win the second game. So that is the first game is very important. So I hope Abhishek Sharma gets back amongst runs. Otherwise, Abhishek Sharma apart and Surya Kumar Yadav is playing that game in the middle overs along with Tilak Verma to ensure India get to an above par score. And that approach has seen India scoring above par both against Pakistan and Holland. Yes, the collapse against US, it was once again the first game. The collapse against US 77 for 6. It was, you can say it was an issue that collapse happened. And maybe Surya took a cue from that. And also in the second game, wickets fell in clusters at the back end. Maybe Surya took a cue from that and he is offering stability because he knows that he can up the ante anytime. and then there are power hitters to follow. So I would stick to my observation that it is a very smart approach.
Okay, so let's take one super chat. And Shamik, in fact, this I think refers to the comment you made earlier. This is from Prashanjit Jana. He says, no, Shamik, the Tilak's inability against spin found by every team. If he played this manner, teams should retired out like Mumbai Indians did whole year. He played at 126 strike rate. So he's
So who
basically,
do you play? So,
yeah, go ahead.
sorry. Am I audible, Ashok?
Yes, yes, you are. Go ahead.
So who do you play at number 3? Tilak Verma is your designated number 3, and he has been doing what he has been asked to. This is the job the team management has given him. He is, he is doing the role he has been assigned to, and he is doing that. His role in this tournament is not to score at a strike rate of 170. uh, I mean, the team management knows the strengths and weaknesses of every player. Every player has its strengths and weaknesses. So Tilak Verma has been asked to play to his strength, and he has been doing that. And India have won 4 out of 4. What more you can expect? What will happen next? We'll see. That is hypothetical. What will happen in South Africa or the other opponents at Super 8s? That is totally hypothetical. As things stand, India have 4 out of 4. Simple. They have decimated Pakistan, and they have won convincingly. So, I mean, we shouldn't. I think this is still very early stage of the tournament. As we approach the business end, uh, we'll see, and we cannot judge it based on hypothesis. So there is no point targeting a certain player or nitpicking.
Got it. Okay, Rohit, coming to you. Let's get into, there are a lot of questions coming in, but I just want to touch upon Abhishek Sharma, a little contentious, but let's talk about that. 3 innings where he's kind of failed. Is there an element of self-doubt creeping in the sense that, this is the only way I bat, basically go big or go home? And is that kind of, coming back to bite him is the question that I'm asking, in the sense that is it kind of perhaps below his ego, or is it a mindset that I don't want to kind of take a single, settle myself in before I go for the big shots? So is that becoming counterproductive for him? What do you think?
So I think the second thing, Ashok sir, you said that it's about the mindset, and I don't know what the batting coach is feeding to him, because when asked in press conference, batting coach clearly said that the way Pakistan set him up, it wasn't the part of their plan. So and I completely disagree with the batting coach on that part, that when he said that how he got out versus Pakistan, it wasn't the plan actually what they are trying to do. For me, that was the exact plan what Pakistan was trying to do with Abhishek Sharma. There was no mid wicket. They haven't kept any mid wicket there. There were just 2 fielders there, one around the square leg umpire and then one at the mid off where he actually got caught. So somewhere around mid on. So where exactly the dismissal is coming from is just to put pressure on Abhishek, that we are giving you at least this area. If you want to score in this area. Otherwise, we are not giving you anything. Look at the dismissal versus USA in that very first game. That was a planned dismissal. USA said this, in the interviews after that we were planning. Mike Hesson was saying in the press conference, we were planning for 3 days that how we have to, got Abhishek Sharma's wicket. And yesterday also, it was a clear plan. It was looking like a clear plan that, let's give Aryan Dutt the first over and you will have the results. And similar thing have happened. He was trying, and that Abhishek Sharma was, not even looking for just to rotate the strike also. That if I have already scored 2 ducks, let me just strike the let me just rotate the strike, and I'll go to the other end, and then again let me see that what I can do in this kind of wicket or in these kind of bowling conditions. So as you rightly said, it's about the mindset that I have to clear the ropes. I have to go for the big shot, the glory shot, the Abhishek Sharma kind of start. I have to give the Abhishek Sharma kind of start, in this World Cup. So I think it's just about 1 or 2 things. Let him see his earlier videos. Let people, sit with him for a couple of minutes and tell him that who is Abhishek Sharma. It's not something which is technical. It is not something that Abhishek Sharma suddenly not know how to score runs. It's just the mindset thing. And everyone now, and I'm very sure that Aiden Markram, you will see a ball in the hand of Aiden Markram as soon as that South Africa game will arrive, or a George Linde or a Keshav Maharaj. The things will started like that only, because now everyone knew that yes, this Indian team, starting from Abhishek Sharma and then Tilak Verma, uh, just to touch on that super chat, I think Tilak Verma with that 125, because this team from last couple of months, they were kept on saying, as Gargi rightly said, that in this team you need a anchor kind of player. That's why they put out Shubman Gill. That's why they said that we don't need Shubman Gill, because Shubman is exactly doing better than Tilak Verma. But then you said that we don't want a player who can play an anchor role, and now you are saying that we want a Tilak Verma with a 125 of strike rate. This and when it comes down to when you see this, that they are winning games. Yes, I'm not questioning that they are not winning games, but they are winning games against associate nations. If similar thing have happened with a South Africa, when you play a South Africa or a West Indies, I'm not counting out Zimbabwe also, but especially South Africa and West Indies, I think then we all get answers that where the thing is going wrong for this Indian team, because at this point of time everyone knows that what the weak link is. Yes, we won the 4 games. Yes, we are table toppers. Yes, we have beaten Pakistan convincingly. But can we say that there is no weak link in this team? And that weak link is in the continuity. It's not like that weak link in the USA game was someone else, then weak link on the Pakistan game was someone else, Namibia someone else, and Netherlands someone else. It's the same thing which is going on from the very start. So as Shamik rightly said, we don't need to pick players individually, but yes, if this team knows that where they are lacking, I think that will be a good practice. But what they are saying in press conference, that's the exact point what they are saying to the players also. Then I think, Ashok sir, that's something which need to rectify, rather than just pushing that thing that yes, we don't have any problems versus spin. Tilak Verma isn't any bad versus spin, or Abhishek Sharma's dismissal is not planned. I think they need to address it differently when it comes down to a one-on-one conversation between coaches and players.
Yeah, I think that's well said, Rohit. Yes, Shabbat. Go ahead.
Ashok, if I may intervene, Rohit, even the best of teams, the greatest of teams, will have a weak link. If you go back to the West Indies in the 1980s, even they had a Larry Gomes, right? Because an Alvin Kalicharan would have made that team foolproof. But Alvin Kalicharan went to South Africa on a rebel tour, and they had to play Larry Gomes. So if you compare, Alvin Kalicharan and Larry Gomes, it's sort of it's poles apart in terms of ability. But even the greatest of teams, and that team had the template. That team set the benchmark. That had a weak link. As far as Abhishek Sharma is concerned, Abhishek Sharma has become world's best T20I batsman, playing the way he plays. Why will he change? I mean, just because he has scored a couple of ducks or 3 ducks, why shall he change? He will not. It is a game of failures. Sport is about failures. Even if you look at the absolute genius, someone like Sachin Tendulkar, who has scored 100 international hundreds, if you look at the number of innings he played and the number of hundred he scored and the ratio, sports is about failures. Success is a privilege. So from that point of view, I will not. I don't want to see Abhishek Sharma eschewing his ego and becoming a grafter. I don't want him to do that. Just because he has scored a couple of ducks or 3 ducks, that doesn't mean anything. I still hope we'll see a different Abhishek Sharma in the Super 8s.
All right, so let's take some questions, before we wind up the show. So just continuing on Abhishek Sharma, in fact, Vaibhav Taragi says teams have cracked out Abhishek's weakness and it's clearly running out on his mind. Hope Gautam Gambhir will show him a way out. He was a lefty himself. In fact, building on what Rohit said earlier, even Netherlands, if I'm not wrong, they hired the services of a left-hand batsman and then asked him to go all out, and they bowled it to him. So Rohit was right. In fact, even Aryan Dutt was a very, very calculated move that they made. So there seems to be merit in this argument, Gargi. Merit in the argument that people have read Abhishek Sharma out, and Gautam Gambhir needs to sit with him and figure out the way ahead.
I don't know if it's about reading Abhishek Sharma as such. I don't think he's found his rhythm yet in the tournament. He was ill in that one game, bad start, illness, then a duck again. I think this is more of a mental block here. He's not able to get that rhythm going. At the same time, out of everything that is happening with this Indian batting lineup, the last thing we want is Abhishek Sharma to change his approach. That's not what you want. You want him to go out there and start going from the very first ball. You want Ishan Kishan to keep playing the way that he wants, because you've already got, going by the observation of the last couple of games and more, you realize that they are focusing on partnerships. So if Abhishek Sharma now goes ahead and slows his game down, then you will not have the X factor that the Indian team is known for. You want Abhishek and Ishan to go gung ho, and nothing. The only chat that needs to be had with Abhishek Sharma is, boss, go out there, play your natural game. We back you. That's the only thing that needs to be said to Abhishek Sharma.
Okay, so one question, just to change the subject a little bit. Eduopedia says, rather than criticizing the Indian team, we should appreciate the so-called minnows for punching above their weight. Shamik, do you want to come in on that, weigh in on that?
Ashok, it's heartening to see the growth of cricket in Europe. Be it Holland, be it Scotland, Ireland is already a full member. Italy, I will not count them much because they don't have sons of the soil. But Ireland, Scotland, Holland, these are the three teams. Cricket is growing in Europe, and that's very, very heartening. Overall, the way Nepal played, they gave us they entertained us. Nepal entertained us. The majority of the associates, they entertained us, and that's what we need. That's why I need, because cricket cannot be restricted to just 12 countries. Cricket cannot be confined. Cricket cannot continue to be confined as a Commonwealth sport. And as it approaches towards 2028 Olympics, it needs to expand. It needs to become a world game. Maybe this is the start. ICC needs to fund these associates a bit more, because see, this team, Scotland got a sponsor just 3 days before the start of the tournament. Canada, they struggled to find a sponsor. So stuff like that, I think going ahead, ICC funding would be Canada. They play their cricket against serious odds. Like 6 months of the year, it is snowy. They don't even have any access to playing field. Very little funding from the ICC. So I hope going ahead, ICC will take the matter of the associates a little more seriously in terms of funding them a little more.
All right. So, quick closing comments. We started by asking, does India have a new batting template? Shamik raised the point that now we are into the Super 8s, and there is going to be perhaps a different approach that the team will take. But, we need to basically give Abhishek Sharma that time, and the confidence is what the panel is talking about. But quick closing comments as we go into the Super 8. What do you think, Gautam Gambhir or Surya Kumar Yadav will be telling the team? Rohit, you want to go first?
Yeah, I think they'll definitely say the communication between them. as far as this is my personal opinion, that I don't think they have to be very much satisfied what they did in the league stage. They shouldn't be very much satisfied about how they went. In that very first game, they came to know that these are not the similar kind of conditions what we are expecting, and that's why there's a approach change in approach from the Namibia game. A similar thing we saw in the Pakistan game also, and then carrying it forward to the Netherlands game also. So the conditions will be difficult. It's not something where you can go and just execute your plans. So I don't think that there will be a lot of happiness around that. Oh, we beat Netherlands, we beat Namibia, and we beat USA. Yes, there was a in between a Pakistan game, but we all know that where Pakistan stands at this point of time. So the real fight starts from here onwards. I think the most important game or the most difficult game before the final this Indian team will play will be surely versus South Africa. So this is a team, informed team, 4 out of 4 games for them. Also, they played. I think last 1 month they have played 4 games in this venue. 3 games started in the T20 World Cup here in Ahmedabad. They played, so they know the conditions well. Most of their players played IPL. They know this. They know this ground really well. Their top order batters are in form. Their middle order is in form. Their fast bowlers, Lungi Ngidi, brilliant with the ball. Apart from that, as I said, that Keshav Maharaj, George Linde, and Aiden Markram will be key against this Indian batting lineup. So yeah, there's a lot to look forward to, and the toughest game in this tournament just before the final. That's my hunch. Will be versus South Africa, Shokta.
Great. Gargi, your point of view, what would be the big advice that Gautam Gambhir would be giving the team? And your response also to what Rohit just said, India versus South Africa, the biggest game, psychologically speaking, perhaps?
100% one of the biggest games of this World Cup. In fact, I would say that the contest starts from the next game. And at this point, I think the only conversation Gautam Gambhir needs to have with the team is to let them know to back their strengths. Leading up to this World Cup, everything that the Indian team did that made us think that this is India's tournament to lose is something that they should go ahead and start. They need to get back to that old India that we had in the 90s.
Okay, looks like there's some net
We have
issue.
lost Gar.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Shamik, why don't you take it away and then let's close the show on that. Final words in terms of what will be your
I As far as the team talk is concerned, Ashok, I think it would be a one-liner for Gautam Gambhir. That would be just go out and play fearless cricket. That's it. Nothing more. Um, the fun part of the tournament is over. Serious business starts now, and now, this, as far as white ball cricket is concerned, India, these guys are immensely skillful, and they can handle pressure. Test team is different, and we are not talking about Test cricket here because this is Test cricket is not relevant at this point in time. But as far as white ball is concerned, they are immensely skillful and they can handle pressure. So it would be a one-liner from the coach. And just before I sign off, Ashok, for our viewers and for our readers, once again some spies from Pakistan camp, water bottle tantrums, Shadab Khan taking a jive at former cricketers. Um, I have filed a story. It will be up on Red Sports platform at 12:30 p.m. Do give it a read. Stories galore from Pakistan camp.
So there you go. All the news about the Super 8s, India preparing for the match against South Africa. Psychologically, perhaps it's going to be a very critical game. And the messaging from the coach and the captain, perhaps to go out and play a fearless game. Rohit, of course, sounds a word of caution, saying that the preparation perhaps not just quite there. But we will keep sharing with you all the action out here on Ref Sports Global. Thank you for tuning in, and thank you for my panelists, Shamik, Gargi, and Rohit. Do not forget to like,
Thank you.
share, and subscribe to the channel. Thank you.